everyone, my name is Meredith Swimith. So today I will be talking about interview tips, especially for first-time job seekers. First, of course, the most important tip is you have to be able to research about the company that you're applying for. You wouldn't want to enter the interview room and once the interviewer asks you, how did you find out about the company? And you're going to be like, I don't really know. I didn't really research about it and all those things. So you don't really have to memorize information or, know the history from start to today, but really just tiny bits of information about the company would really help you. Second tip, just make sure that the information on your resume is actually accurate and complete. You don't have to write so many things about yourself. Straight to the point, your educational background, and all those things. And for my third tip, be prepared for the common BPO or call center questions. One question that we usually ask is, tell me something about yourself. And just talk about your interests, why you want to apply to this company, okay? How the company would actually benefit from you, and as well as you benefiting from the company. And last but not the least, you ask questions. It's actually good to ask questions anyway. We wouldn't judge you for that. We are hiring for agent positions here at 247.ai. Visit us at our 3 sites here in Metro Manila. That's in McKinley West, Ortigas, and in Makati. Be part of the 24/7 life today.
The pace of change is unprecedented in the financial services industry. Higher stakes are pushing institutions to streamline operations, lower costs, and accelerate innovation. Cloud is now a critical component of new business models. Financial institutions are no longer debating whether to embrace the cloud, but how quickly. No matter where you are in your digital transformation, Amazon Web Services can help sharpen your competitive edge.
The foundational work, putting the security and the control frameworks, the risk models in place in order to deploy cloud, critically important. The real value that our customers are getting are being able to modernize their legacy systems, being able to anticipate change within the businesses, and being able to develop and drive new opportunities for these businesses.
What if your organization could reduce the cost of ownership, automate manual processes, and eliminate data silos? AWS helps you modernize legacy infrastructure securely and cost-effectively.
We migrated over 200 applications in about a 12-month period. And because of this, on November 5th, we were able to do something that not many companies, if any, in our industry has been able to do. We shut down our last and owned operated data center on November 5th. Lights out.
AWS can help you meet rapidly changing consumer expectations with multi-channel solutions that deliver personalized offers in real time. Drive business growth by building and scaling new solutions faster and at lower cost.
We believe very strongly in the power of speed and momentum for our customers, and AWS has really helped us to do this. So over the last year, for example, we've gone from releasing software maybe once a month to releasing software every week.
Financial institutions have all the tools and resources they need to create a compliant and secure environment on AWS.
If you look at Discover, our North Star is really our customer, making sure that we're doing the right thing by our customers. And the regulatory requirements, our compliance requirements, all help us achieve that goal. But how quickly we get there starts to become a differentiator, and that's where the partnership between Discover and AWS has been really powerful.
More and more organizations are moving to cloud first. If you want to build something and you want to build something on AWS in the cloud, go ahead, because we have our guardrails in place, we have our policies, we have our procedures, we have our frameworks for compliance and governance. Go do it. Go build as quickly as you can.
Join the ranks of leaders who have chosen AWS and are already shaping the future of financial services.
My goal is for Goldman Sachs to lead the way in building financial services technology. And we're going to succeed in no small part during the work we have done and will continue to do with Amazon Web Services. Still, our job will remain the same: to assume the burden of complexity and make finances easy intuitive, and as effective as possible. We want to enable you to focus on building things that we couldn't dream of, things that change the way the world works for the better.
AWS is how. Learn more at aws.com/financial-services.
To stay ahead of competition, today's retail environment requires understanding your customers and closely monitoring your retail operations. Finding new ways to attract and build customer loyalty needs a deep understanding of customer sentiment and shopping patterns. Maintaining profitability in a retail operation means closely tracking cash handling, inventory levels, and delivery costs. Data streams from customer databases, POS systems, and replenishment models are generated every day. If you can consolidate these data silos to build a single data view, you can create actionable intelligence to better understand your customers and optimize your operations. Amazon Web Services offers comprehensive big data services that enable retailers to perform sophisticated analytics at lightning-fast speeds, allowing for real-time analysis and insights that drive your business. With Amazon Kinesis, you can quickly ingest different data streams from mobile and web purchases, POS transactions, and customer data. Store this data in an Amazon S3 data lake and use Amazon Athena to run ad hoc analysis and interactive queries like customer shopping patterns and product preferences. With AWS Lambda, you can set up code that responds to certain triggers and events, like querying Amazon DynamoDB, a NoSQL database, to respond to customer questions about product assortment and availability, or to generate sentiment analysis from social media. Storing it in a fully managed data warehouse like Amazon Redshift, then visualizing and identifying customer sentiment over time with Amazon QuickSight. Amazon EMR provides retailers with a managed Hadoop analytics framework that makes it easy, fast, and cost-effective to process vast amounts of transaction data, online browsing behavior, in-store shopping trends, and product preferences, which can guide inventory and pricing strategies. With the broadest and most advanced set of analytics services supporting every workload imaginable, AWS provides everything a retailer needs to collect, store, process, analyze, and visualize big data in the cloud. Start your AWS cloud journey today.
Hello everyone, welcome again to another Community Ignite series. I'm Rafi Kisumbing, also known as Young CTO. Our special guests, wearing multiple hats.
Hello everyone, so ako si Alvin. I'm a senior solutions architect. I specialize on software development and I've been using AWS since 2008. I started off defining my infrastructure using CloudFormation, but since AWS CDK came to be, ito na yung kadalasan na ginagamit ko. No? Now, as you can see, there's actually a shift from writing YAML and JSON code to define your infrastructure to using an object-oriented programming language. And at the same time, you can actually deploy your infrastructure right alongside your code. So just imagine, diba, the speed and the agility.
I'd like to thank our co-presenter, AWS and AWS Club Pilipinas.
Introducing Amazon EC2 Mac Instances, enabling you to run on-demand macOS workloads in the cloud for the first time. You can launch macOS development environments in minutes. Create and reuse your configurations with customized macOS images. Scale capacity up and down as you build and test applications, and pay only for your actual usage with pay-as-you-go pricing. EC2 Mac instances are built on the AWS Nitro system and combine Apple Mac Mini computers with the security, reliability, scalability, high performance, and geographic reach of the AWS global infrastructure. This means you can quickly and confidently develop, build, test, and sign apps for Apple platforms. EC2 Mac instances can unify your heterogeneous development environments, reducing overhead and improving agility. And because they're part of the AWS cloud, you can use Mac instances with many other AWS services for storage, networking, management, and more. Getting started with Mac instances is easy. You can use the AWS Management Console, Command Line Interface, or SDKs. Get started today.
All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here once more on our regular Thursday night. And I'm super excited to be here and present to you our topic for this week and also present to you our partners for this week. So again, welcome to another episode of the Community Ignite series, which we've titled Innovating on the Cloud, Building with AWS. So I am your host, Rafi Kisumbing, and I am your AWS community hero, as well as a representative of EdukasyonPH. Again, so I'd like to thank everyone that has spent their night here on Thursday night with us. And again, I'd like to double check with everyone if you with reactions, if this is your first time here. Okay, again, if this is your first time here, just do the hands up sign. But if you've been a multi subscriber or multi-viewer, do the heart sign. So again, just to the reactions, thumbs up if this is your first time, and heart if you've been here multiple times already. All right. And I can see that we have a lot of people here who have been here multiple times already, and we do have some people also first time here. So thank you again for that. So for the first time that are here, let me just present what this series is all about. The series, not just the topic, right? What is Community Ignite series? So these are Thursday short episodes where we bring people, product, and purpose together to help build IT professionals, especially if you are in your early career or early at heart, right? And what we really want to do here is to make sure that you are well informed of all the opportunities, all the technologies that you have, especially on the cloud. And of course, we would like to thank our co-presenter, which you can also see here. This event is co-presented by Amazon Web Services and AWS Ciclab Pilipinas. So last week, we learned about the open source and how you can start learning about those technologies. So if you were not able to catch last week and even our previous episodes, you can always watch them, full episodes at YouTube, and you can also watch the highlights in our different social media channels. So don't forget to subscribe to those different, to our TikTok, to our LinkedIn, to our Facebook groups, right? And you can even post and share those information. You can use hashtag AWS CiclabPH, EdukasyonPH, and the hashtag Community Ignite series. So again, if you just want to connect with us, look at the previous episodes and get informed immediately about our series, you can go to this link and it will link you to the various social media. You can also scan the QR code. And so without further ado, I'd like to formally, or at least, start with our episode for today. So I'm so happy with our guest speakers today is because in AWS, it's really about the pace of innovation. And we have a partner here today that has really started and has innovated the cloud adoption. Because in AWS and in our industry, okay, basically innovation drives success. Okay, so you're either innovating new services or innovating existing services, adding extra value, or even discovering new value. So this will help you modernize your IT infrastructure and your business as well. So I'd like to call in our partners from ApperPH, okay, which is one of the leading Philippine AWS partner network companies here. They have pioneered building solutions and talents perfect for IT startups and enterprises. They have also transformed the cloud, okay, in the fintech space, which actually helped the first ever unicorn in the Philippines. Not just in case you didn't know, we now have a unicorn here in the Philippines. Yes, so congratulations to Mint, which is also, I believe, Globe or Gcash, right? And ApperPH helped them transform that as well. So our speaker for today are two beautiful ladies. So first is Moselle, or Mo for short, right? She is the marketing and partnerships of ApperPH. And also our second speaker or joint speaker is Miss Wesley Talan, okay, which is a solutions architect at ApperPH. They're definitely geeks at heart. They have graduated from the various universities here in the Philippines. Wesley graduated from PUP, okay, and she started working as a web developer and an AI engineer as well, specializing in computer vision. Wesley now is a cloud architect and solutions architect at ApperPH, right? So can I call onto the stage again, Mo and Wes?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Rafi. And thank you for having us here. We are so excited to be sharing in today's Community Ignite series. And before we do move on, we have a lot of things in store for you. I do want to give a quick introduction about Apper and what we do for our clients. So one moment, let me just share my screen. All right, so Apper, what do we do? Who exactly is Apper? We help businesses adopt innovations on the cloud as we extend our expertise to ensure efficient execution so that businesses can focus more on what is important to their operations. So we are here to innovate with you and help you with your innovations projects. So please do enjoy this quick video introduction of Apper and our services.
Mo, I think you'll have to replay it again because the sound is not going through.
Their customers.
There you go.
Since entering the new decade, businesses are enjoying lower overall IT spend by as much as 30%. More and more businesses are adopting new technology to keep up with the ever-changing demands of their customers. Welcome to Apper. Here, we help businesses adopt innovations on the cloud and build collaborative partnerships with our clients. We have worked with our trusted partners over the years to ensure hassle-free, efficient, and seamless implementation of technology. Are you ready to innovate on the cloud? Let's build your innovation roadmap together. Talk to us. Visit www.apper.ph to learn more. Apper.ph, innovating with you. Since entering the new decade.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed that video. So as you've seen, we help businesses adopt new technology, and Apper is actually an advanced tier consulting partner for AWS, as well as a recognized public sector partner. So this is Apper is actually one of a handful of AWS managed partners in the country to receive this distinction in a very short amount of time. So our team, being young and small, we really do believe that we have the right talent and skill set to help our clients innovate on the cloud. So before I turn over the floor to Wes, I just wanted to give a short introduction. So Wesley is actually our solutions architect, one of the youngest in the Apper team, but definitely one of the most skilled. So she'll be sharing with you today all about innovating on the cloud, starting your career with AWS, as well as a brief introduction of AWS services and how you can get started on your cloud journey. So once again, this has been Marcel Cruz the marketing and partnerships lead of ApperPH. I'll see you guys later. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. We'd be happy to answer them after the talk. So I give the floor over to Wesley. Over to you, Wes.
Thank you, Ms. Mosel. So, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So, next slide, please, Ms. Mosel. Okay. So, good afternoon, good evening again, everyone. So, I'm Wesley Kate Talan. I'm a cloud solutions architect here in Apper for almost about 10 months. So, I have been working 3 years. So, I started working as a part-time web developer. And after graduating, I worked as a software engineer and held a small team that specializes in computer vision and NLP. So, and now I work as a cloud solutions architect and have actually 2 certifications in AWS, namely the cloud practitioner, the solutions architect associate, and the developer associate examinations. So I'm still preparing for more and about the SA Pro and also the specialty exams. So yep, so that's it for my introduction. Next, Ms. Mo. Okay. So let me tell you more about my day in life as a cloud solution architect. So I start my day actually catching up with our team, from the sales team to our DevOps team. So as an SA, we are in the middle or center of the sales and the technical teams. So you help with the recommendations for the issues of the client very early on. Then you go through and also help with the implementation of the cloud services. So on a typical day, we meet with the clients, introduce ourselves, and also very important is to listen to the current pain points of the client. So after that, the job of the SA is to scope further into details by checking their account or other requirements. And this helps us to create the proposal. So while creating the proposal, so for every client, there's a different service or application. So which I think makes the job of the SA a little bit more exciting, since you get to explore and learn more about the different application and background of the clients. So after that, we create the proposals, and by giving them the best practices of AWS and recommendations, the timeline, and also the giving them the estimates on the pricing. And after that, we present the proposals, and if all goes well, we meet with the client and the dev team. And as an SA, we also help implement the best practices and security. And also, after that, we communicate with the DevOps team regularly and also the clients. So, yep. So that is the day in the life of the cloud solution architect. So next, please. So for a quick introduction of the cloud, so the cloud has been there for quite some time. So it is a mature technology, but in cloud, we isolate different parts of the infrastructure like compute power, storage, and database as a component to the operating system. And the cloud has developer-friendly tools to manage them. So as a fun fact, AWS has in fact, the Amazon Web Services was launched publicly back in 2006. So that is 15 years ago. So the first services actually is the S3, the EC2, and SQS. So now I'll give a little bit more description about the cloud computing. Okay, so for the cloud computing by Wikipedia, so the practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than a local server or personal computer. So for AWS, cloud computing by definition refers to the on-demand delivery of IT resources and applications via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So instead of having on-premise servers where you pay for it long-term, in cloud, you pay for only what you use, and you can quickly shut down or upgrade, downgrade servers depending on the requirement of your application or business. So your application or the services for your application will be accessed via the internet. So I think that is cloud computing. So next, Ms. Mo. So I'm going to tell you more about the services types of cloud computing. So first off is the IaaS. So typically, IaaS provides access to networking features, computers like virtual or dedicated hardwares and data storage space. So this option gives the customers the most flexibility and customization and management of your IT resources. So for example, the Amazon EC2, RDS, EBS, and Amazon VPC. So next, Ms. Mo. So next is the platform as a service. So this one removes the underlying need for the organization to manage the infrastructure. So this allows the developers or customers to focus on the deployment and management. This example is the AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So next, Ms. Mo, is the software as a service. So we remove another layer of management in this service. So this service provides you with a completed product. So for example, the Amazon Workdocs. Next is the application and integration services. So this enables components within microservices distributed system to communicate. So for example, the SQS and SNS. Lastly is the function as a service. So this one is a really cool service. This one, you only have to write and execute your code for launching your microservices application. So that is all the computing services types of cloud. So next, Ms. Mo. So AWS has helped launch a lot of digital innovation and services. So AWS has changed the cost of starting a business radically from 5 million US dollars to 50K US dollars. So that's a lot. So a lot of the application you use right now runs on top of the cloud services, specifically the AWS. So by using the pay-as-you-go service method, AWS has been able to do this and help a lot of business. So next, Ms. Rose. So just a quick run through. So AWS has less than 25 services in 2011. So as discussed earlier, AWS has started with 3, and now they have 60 in 2016 and over 200 in 2021. So that's a lot of cloud services. So next, Ms. Mo. Okay, so how do you know more about this cloud services? So actually, we have here the certifications in AWS. So that's ranging from the foundational, associate, professional, and to specialty cloud certifications by AWS. So next. So my journey to the cloud. So how did I start my career with AWS or the cloud? So I started with taking the certificates. So actually 2 years ago, in my previous company, so they actually encouraged us to take the certification. So at that time, my knowledge about the cloud is still very little. So even though I work as a software developer and graduated with a degree of computer science, there's still so much to learn when you have actually gone through the first or the cloud practitioner of AWS. So I started with that, and there you can learn about the basics of cloud. This certification actually gives you the overview of cloud services. So, and also actually non-technical personnel can actually take this exam. So even though you don't have any IT background, everyone can actually take this exam. So next. So first off, why do we need to take the certifications? So first one, more and more companies are shifting to cloud. So statistically, a research show that 90% of the company are already on the cloud or using the cloud. So that's the first reason to take up cloud certifications. So you could grow with the cloud, and while taking the certification, so the cloud is still growing and does not show signs of stopping. So you can grow with it too. So the second reason of why you should take the certification, you can add the certifications to your resume. So since it's globally recognized, you already have an additional edge from other applicants. So this will increase the likelihood of getting the offer. And actually, the company have seen that you have studied this particular kind of services for the particular kind of certificates you have. Next is by having cloud certification, it shows dedication and grit and commitment to your work. So since studying for certification can be grueling and time consuming, I usually sacrifice my weekends and a lot of time after work for studying. But it will always lead you to more learning and maybe promotion, or can be career shifts to cloud area. So another reason is the abundance of jobs in the market. So that's another reason of why you can take the cloud certification. Next is showcase your expertise in AWS. Since AWS has multiple cloud certification, for example, you're a SysOps, you can take the SysOps administration or examination. And for specialty, if you're an ML engineer, you can take that, or a DevOps or an SE. So lastly is the continuous learning. So learn all the topics for a particular, so you have to learn all the topics for a particular certification. You have to practice and do hands-on and actually recertify after a year or two. So I think that's it. So learning never stops when you go to the cloud. So that's it. Thanks. Next, Ms. Mo. Okay. How do you prepare for the certification? So first, you have to schedule it. I usually schedule my certification a month before so that you could commit to it. And actually, it adds a little bit of pressure on yourself. And I usually schedule it on the Saturday or weekends or in the morning so that you have a fresh mind, and you can actually schedule it on the most lax time of the week. And after that, how do you, secondly is to study in small increments. So a study is, there's actually study that spaced repetition is extremely effective approach in learning, which is also called distributed practice. So for me, I study an hour after work on more hours on weekends. So some also use Anki application. So I also have tried that. It applies spaced repetition by creating cards while you learn in AWS documents or AWS trainings or any third party providers that for the AWS certification. So lastly is to practice. So I have read a book which is called Ultra Learning. So This one is direct practice and hands-on learning work tremendously. So this also, so you have to get your hands dirty and do the and go to AWS Management Console or the CLI to practice and practice until you have learned the basics and the services that you are studying. So this direct practice also works for as computer science students on programming, and also this was shown in the musicians when they practice on their music sheets. So lastly, next, Miss Mo, I think that's it. Okay, so lastly for me, last advice is be kind to yourself. So the pandemic has been hard to all of us now, and actually we can take rests and breaks every now and then. So to renew and replenish, and then after that, come back stronger. So I think that's it for me, Miss Mo. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Wesley, for that inspiring and insightful session. I hope you guys have learned a lot on Wesley's talk. And if you have questions, I think later on we have a few questions coming in from our audience. So before we do formally close, I do have some exciting news for our viewers today. And actually, Apper is open for hiring. So if you do want to kickstart your journey with AWS and the cloud, we are actually opening our internship program. We are hiring interns for the growth team. So if you want to kickstart your career in tech and learn more about the industry, you can send your applications to mlcruz@apper.ph so that we can process your applications. Other than that, for those students who are graduating and are looking to explore also opportunities with one of the biggest companies in the country. So if you are G, to grow with the most successful fintech company and the first ever double unicorn, which is Gcash, we are actually partnering with them for the Gcash Fintech Engineering Cadetship Program. So what is this program for? This is a 7-month intensive and comprehensive training for aspiring developers and tech professionals in the fintech industry. So who is this program for? The program is open for fresh graduates or candidates with up to 1 year of working experience, preferably with a 4-year bachelor's course in computer science, IT, engineering, or any STEM-related course. And candidates who are, of course, fast learners, competitive, willing to learn, and have a thirst for knowledge, and, of course, a strong interest in the industry and applying their knowledge in the fintech industry as well. So if you think that you are a fit, we are still accepting applications for the program, and Gcash would be selecting the top candidates to be part of the team. So how do you join? So to join, you can actually join the Gcash Fintech Engineering Cadetship Program. You can send your CV to careers@gcash.com with the email subject Cadetship Program plus your full name. We are looking forward to receiving your applications. And yes, good luck. And for any questions, please feel free to, message me, send me an email at mlcruz@apper.ph. Also on LinkedIn, I'd be happy to answer your questions about this program as well. So before we do end, I think we're opening up the floor for questions. So before I turn back the floor to Rafi, we would like to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And I'd like to thank our speaker, Ms. Wesley Talan, for sharing her experiences. And of course, our partners, EdukasyonPH, AWS, and AWS Club Pilipinas. Thank you so much for having us. Apper is honored to be part of the Community Ignite series. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Mo and Wesley. Right. So at the moment, we'll be opening questions from our audiences. You can chat it here. And also, if you are watching over Facebook, we also have our moderators looking at Facebook questions as well. But we'll entertain more the questions here in our Zoom link. So I think there are a couple of questions, Wes, now for you. And I've grouped them in general to maybe start off. No? So maybe one of the questions is, what are the skills really to siguro between a cloud practitioner and a solutions architect, no? And how long did it take you to gain those skills?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that question. So actually, I started for the skills, the cloud practitioner to SA. You have to have the fundamentals or the associate. I have the associate certifications to have to be an SA, and actually there in our organization, big help is that you surround yourself with people, and this people have actually higher certifications than you. And for how long? I think I'm here in Apper about 10 months. So I started with actually just an associate certification. So I think that's it for the question.
Right. And maybe I can add to this question. No? But basically, since as you mentioned previously, you are client facing as well, and basically you give solutions to their problems. So do you need like a developer, or do you need to have a background in coding, any particular language? Do you need to have like, presentation skills? Do you need to be very good at at PowerPoint making or slides making? What are the soft skills and hard skills that are usually associated with solutions architect?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that questions. Actually, to be honest, I'm still developing actually my soft skills and also hard skills. So on my soft skills, I'm still practicing on my presentation skills and read books about how to communicate well with people. So I think this one is as a solution architect or any other profession, it is actually a continuous learning process. So for hard skill, we actually still have to do certifications like the SysOps and professional levels. So yeah, thank you for that.
Right. And we have a follow-up question here, which is related to that question. You need to know networking, right? Just some idea that do you need to know maybe, or what kinds of networking do you need to know? Do you need to know how to crypt? Do you need to be able to set up a DNS? What kind of networking is needed for solutions architect?
Yeah. So I think as a solution architect, you're more of a your knowledge base is more of widen than a depth, more kind of knowledge than, for example, that is what differentiate us from the DevOps team or the ML engineers. So they focus on one subject. As an SA, you need to need to know more about all the, or not all, but more about the services of the cloud So yeah.
Right. So more cloud services and how they work, right? Again, just looking at the questions here is, as a solutions architect, given that you are a generalist, do you really need to know all the service type? You mentioned a lot of service type earlier. Do you need to know all the 200 services? Do you just pick a few, or what's the level of understanding that you need to have as a solutions architect?
Actually, I haven't as an SA, but as an SA, you actually have to know most of the services. So not all, but actually most of the services. Since on the SA professional, that I've heard that they test you on most of the services that AWS offers. So that's it for the question.
Right. And I also like to chime in on this. No? As an SA Pro myself, basically what you really need to do is, especially maybe early consultations with the client, is you have a broad understanding of the services. So you can, it's like when somebody asks you, you can give an answer, but you mention that, hey, that you're also able to research back. And, this is my initial ballpark solution, but I can easily give you an in-depth solution if you give me enough time. So I think that's the skill set of a solutions architect. And moving on to the next question about, this is mostly your motivation, I guess here. What triggered you to become an SA in the first place, right? So moving, as you mentioned, you started off like a Python developer, a web developer. What was a triggering factor for you to become a solutions architect? Maybe this person is asking, is it salary? Is it opportunity?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that question. Actually, on my previous company, so I was an ML engineer. So after that, there was some problem in the cloud on development of application, and I realized that I only know a little bit about the IT or the development, the software development. So my main motivation is actually learning. So as an SA, you get to know more about the end-to-end infrastructure from the network, database, compute, and also actually the best practices in on what is new. So I think that's it for my question, for that.
Right. And we have a question. Okay, I'm just there's a lot of questions and a lot of people seems to be very interested on the solutions architect. Why SA versus DevOps? Or basically, as you mentioned, you also have a DevOps team, or you also have a SA team. Why did you decide to pick the SA, or the difference between both of them?
Okay. Actually, SA and DevOps have different functions in the group. So as an SA, as discussed, you're more on the center of the sales and development team on the technical side. So you get more clients. That's the recommend the proposals to the client and solutions to the client. So that's the main job of this an SA. So as a DevOps engineer, you're going to implement the solutions that the SA has recommended to the client. So as a DevOps engineer, you're more on the depth of the technical side. So yeah.
Right. And I think this answers the question of Arteniel, where he was mentioning, I think he's a person, he's a guy, I think, but he's mentioning that do you actually do the build of the designs yourself, or just to add to this, is it frustrating that you design it but somebody else executes it? No, not it's the DevOps team, not you, or is there projects that as you design, you're also the one that executes it?
Okay, yeah. So thank you for that question. So as an SA, you have to know how to build the services that you have designed. So there are, most of the time, I actually implement on the security side or the AWS organization or SSO side to the client and implement it on their AWS account. So as the short question, yes. So yes.
Right. And I think just to add to this, SA usually in control, governance, the initial, while DevOps would be more towards continuous improvement and operation. So there you can still implement and then eventually hand it over to the DevOps team. And so here, there are a couple of questions here. Where do you start? And what references could you provide, both free and maybe paid? to learn more about solutions architect?
Okay. Yeah. So I actually started with as discussed, the cloud practitioner exam. So I have relied on the AWS training. This one is free, and actually have relied also with the third-party services like A Cloud Guru and on Tutorials Dojo. So yeah, that one was paid third-party service.
And because you, like I said, you also used paid, no? Another question here is for the exam itself, no? It's pretty expensive, quote unquote. Did you have to pay for that on your own?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So actually, I'm very lucky since on my previous company, they have actually paid for the certification, and now here in Apper also pay for the certifications that I took, and also for the incoming.
All right. And just to add to this, and just double check with your HR. Usually, a lot of companies actually have a training policy, right? You'd be surprised if you just ask, hey, you want to get sponsored or you want to get reimbursed with your examination. A lot of companies do actually will sponsor or reimburse for certification. So again, just ask your HR or your boss, because anyway, it will benefit them that you are certified. You know your skills, no? And you basically can implement those skills in your current company. In terms of hardness, or basically how difficult the exam is in a scale of 1 to 10 here, I think this person is now inspired to really get the examination. How hard is it, right?
Yeah, okay, thank you. For the certification, if you have actually background in IT, so if for the AWS cloud practitioner, I think it is out of five or to 7, if depending on the background. And I actually rate them on how long I study for the exam. So for cloud practitioner, I actually studied for 2 weeks, and for the other associate, which is more hard, I actually studied for a month or 2 for that examination. So yeah.
Right. Let's see if we still have questions. Let me just go through the chat. No. I have a personal question here. Is could you give some examples, maybe things that Apper and you have implemented, and what were the problems that the client went to you, and what were the solutions that you proposed? So just to give an idea, no, what kind of problems usually are encountered by your clients, and solution that you usually propose.
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, most of the clients that we have is has an issue about the deployment, or the on how slow their deployment is. So we usually recommend, so Apper has specialty in the DevOps side of the implementing in cloud. So we usually recommend the CI/CD and also cloud formation and end-to-end template or infrastructure automation, and yeah. So, and also the security best practices of the network, the data, and also governance. So yeah.
Right. I have a couple of questions here, but mostly about what can you advise Nico, whose girlfriend has a BSBA. I think this is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, but she's interested in cloud computing, right? So what advice can you give Nico's girlfriend?
Okay, yeah. So actually I have colleagues that is a career shifter, so from ECE. I think we can actually shift to cloud by just starting on studying or studying for the certification, which is the cloud practitioner. So you can start there actually. That's my advice. So if you really love cloud computing, so yeah.
Right. And I guess this is related to this particular question and also the items that Ms. Mo mentioned, right? So for internship, right, do you accept third year students and even career shifters as well, right? For your internship at ApperPH,
Wait lang.
is there a, sorry?
Sorry.
Yes, is that third year allowed? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, we do accept students that are in their third and fourth year of college, as long as they can commit about a certain number of hours per day, which would be discussed upon interview. Career and course shifters are also welcome. So the internship is open for the growth team. So anything related to marketing, business development, and customer success. So for those who are asking again, you can send your CVs to mlcruz@apper.ph. I'll flash it later again so everyone can take it on their notes.
Yes, and we'll also type it in the chat as well. No? Now we have other questions because I think we opened some can of worms about career shifting. No? We have some questions here, especially potentially maybe applying as interns with career shifters. For you, Ms. Mo, baka this is more towards, you know, on paper, like on the resume, would you prefer that they have a certification, an AWS certification, or more towards like a master's degree in a particular field?
For Ms. Mo?
Hello, sorry, it cut up a little bit. I think there's some problem with
Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat the
So for
question?
example, for
Mhm.
yes, for a company right now, especially maybe Apper, do you prefer, or for maybe for your clients, no? Do they prefer certification of exams like an AWS certification or a masteral degree, right? Maybe that's or what are your thoughts between these two?
I think when it comes to starting your career in the cloud, I think the most important thing, and I feel like all of our architects and engineers can relate that, it's important to have a certain kind of background when it comes to IT and engineering, but getting the certifications along the way, I think most companies would prefer someone who has the grit and the motivation to start learning and growing with the company. So for instance, with Apper, we have a very special and specific training plan for everyone in the team. And we love seeing our team members grow with Apper, along with getting the right experience in growing and innovating on the cloud. So I feel like it's not a question about getting the AWS certifications or getting your master's degree, but it's really more on having the willingness to learn and grow and start your cloud journey. And most companies, I do believe, would be providing the necessary trainings that you would be needing to start getting the certifications on the cloud as a cloud solutions architect or as a DevOps engineer. So it's really, I think from my experience, it's not a matter of what certifications you currently have under your belt, or if you do have a master's degree, but as long as you have the willingness to learn and grow with whichever company that you would be applying for.
Right. And we'll entertain a couple more questions. Last couple of questions, maybe three more. I think this is best for Ms. Wesley, right? One question here is that as an SA, do you still code or do you still maybe practice some ML on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that question. So actually, since I'm focusing more on my cloud profession, I sadly have not actually code for the past few months, and also code for the ML part of my uh, career. So yeah, but I'm still learning on. I'm planning to learn on the specialty of ML engineer on cloud, and I think we have still coding in the part of the infrastructure side, with it, which is the cloud formation side of AWS. So yeah.
Yes. And I'd like to add to this, right? As there are many different paths for everyone. If you do love coding, especially you like Python, you like maybe Java, you like C Sharp, right? You can take the developer associate, where you're really playing with the APIs on the cloud, right? You can, as we have a lot of service types, a lot of these service actually expose an API. So for example, you might be using what you call this, Amplify, right? Amplify as your backend. So as a front-end developer, you can use Amplify for your data store, and it's easy to use. Again, you have a lot of these different cloud service types and cloud services under those types, especially on the application integration services that have a lot of APIs that you can use to build your solution. Let's see, what else do we have here in terms of question? Maybe two more here. Let's get this, because John and Ardens has a lot of, he wants a personal answer. So for John, he already passed the cloud practitioner last summer. So I'm not sure if that's 2021 or 2020. No? So let's assume it's 2021. And reviewed a little bit about SAA. However, not yet taking the test, because John is afraid that they may forget what they've learned. So they're planning to take SAA on 2022. So basically summer, another 6 months after. Is that strategy okay? Or, is that too long?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that question. So as long as we're going to review again for a month or two before your SAA exam, I think this would be okay, since the review will be just a refresher or additional on the cloud practitioner that you have taken last summer. So yeah, that's for the answer. Yeah.
Right. And we have two more questions that I'd like to entertain here. Right now, one of the questions here is about SAA or the developer, which is harder, right? But I guess it really depends on everyone, right? On their background as well. No? If you have a developer background, then maybe if you find the SAA harder, right? Because or it could be vice versa, depending on how long you prepared as well, right? So did you have any significant, Wes, did you have any significant, it's really harder than what the CDA was really harder than the SAA, or did you feel like it was generally more or less the same?
Okay, yeah. Actually, this was just opinion. And also my colleagues actually said that SAA is a little bit more harder, because the questions are a little bit more longer than CDA, since CDA has direct to the point questions when you're going to take the exam. But actually depends still on your background. If you're, as said by Sir, if you have a developer background or the SAA background.
Right. And then what last question that we'll entertain about SAA is, do you believe that after 5 years, this position, SAA position, what was that exact question is 3 to 5 years, it's gonna still be relevant in the industry, because a solutions architect sounds like it's a new position, right? We haven't, it's relatively new, quote unquote, right? And do you believe that 3 to 5 years that position will still exist?
Yes. So thank you for the question. Actually, I do agree that in 5 years, SA is still a relevant position because of the cloud. The growth of cloud is still actually not slowing down. So we still need the demand for this position and for people who needs the knowledge of an SA is still and will be on demand after 5 years. So yeah.
And I'll add to this, I do believe this is still relevant because again, the more services that you have, the more choice. That means the more choice, you also have to now balance the choices, right? Which cases are these particular choice better? Which cases are these particular cases better? And so that's where we can see how the solutions architect now has a lot of tools that they need to evaluate for a particular problem. And so as mentioned, that would be our last question for Ms. Kate. And I think I just want to entertain this one last question, mostly for Ms. Mo, is are there different kinds of internship under Apper, right? I think that they are very interested to join ApperPH now, or even the cadet program, right? So what are the different roles?
All right, so right now we are opening the internship for the growth team. So far that's the current opening that we have right now. So this is for sales and marketing and business development, but we'll be opening other positions for internship very soon. So please don't forget to follow Apper on Facebook and LinkedIn. So it's facebook.com/apper.ph. We are posting announcements for not only internships, but job openings there as well. And for those who are interested in the GCash FinTech Engineering Cadetship Program, it is also open for fresh graduates and those with less than 1 year of experience. So please go check that out as well. More information is on our website and on our Facebook pages. So for those asking, you can send your CVs to careers@gcash.com and just put for the email subject cadetship program and your full name. So we are looking forward to getting your applications. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mo, and thank you again, Miss Mesley, right? So to everyone here, as we are about to close, again, we thank you very much for being here with us for 1 hour and spending another Thursday night with you. And I hope you can see how the cloud is really changing the innovation of companies and how you can start building with AWS, with the solutions that they have, the different cloud service types that you can use to build with AWS. And I hope that was a productive session for you all, especially those who joined in the Q&A as well. And before we end, again, this series happens every Thursday. So if you joined late and you want to heads up for next week, we also have already next week, we will be talking about building your very first serverless application on AWS. Right, so this Community Ignite series is co-presented by AWS and AWS Ciclab Pilipinas. Right, so they are our co-presenter. They have been very helpful in building the community. Right. And for those that would like to get a e-certificate, again, for those that who would like to get an e-certificate, we will ask your feedback. If you like an e-certificate, or even if you don't, right? Your feedback is always appreciated. And so you can scan this QR code or basically type this link so that you can get the form so that you can give us topics that you want us to discuss. in the cloud, in your tech journey. So before we end, we would like to ask everyone again to follow our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and stay updated with this event. No? Search nyo lang AWS Club Pilipinas. If you don't want to use the link, you can also search us in all major social media channels, right? So you can type that Linktree or just search AWS Club Pilipinas. All right. So thank you again very much for everyone who stayed here. And I'd also like to show a short video as well before we end. Okay, so as we are about to end, we'll just show a short video on how AWS has built, or how AWS has helped companies, fintech companies, especially here in the Philippines.
I'm Ernest Koo. I'm President and CEO of Globe Telecom, the leading mobile operator in the Philippines. Well, Globe is a Tier 1 telco operator in the Philippines with both mobile and fixed line services, about $2.5 billion in revenue. The most important thing for Globe at the moment is to remain relevant to its base. Telcos today are becoming less relevant given the fact that we can be reduced to a pipe that consumers use to consume content. Right? For Globe, we want to provide the full lifestyle. We want to enable a Filipino digital lifestyle. And to do that, we have to continue innovating. The cloud actually gives us the ability to try out different things, given that innovation is a big push within the company. We can set up quickly, we can shut it down at little cost. Because really, it's a long tail effect at this stage in telco, right? We've got to try many products to figure out which one will work in the market. And if you do that in a traditional on-premise environment, I presume, and I think, and I'm sure of it, that the throwaway cost would be much higher than what we have today. Today, you actually practically have zero throwaway costs on hardware. You have to throw away your development cost, which could be a fraction of what the hardware could be. But it does add to our flexibility and our ability to innovate constantly. AWS was the dominant player, and is still the dominant player today. And in the Philippines, there are very few options. We also looked at the type of support they offered. And truly, I think what made the relationship a success was the fact that they provided the support during the initial stages of our move to the cloud, with regard to training, with regard to architectural support, with regard to promotion within the company, and so on. They actually got our people ready and prepared to move to the cloud. That was very, very significant in terms of our impetus to get our people to develop systems on the cloud itself. We run a wide variety of workloads in AWS, from portal applications, our, let's say, web portals, our online store are running on it, our self-service apps are running on it, even our content registration platform runs on it. We actually use the Amazon EC2 platform for computing, the Amazon RDS for relational database, and also the AWS Lambda, specifically most recently for our self-service application that we put on most phones. The AWS Cloud Service is available through Globe, through a connectivity agreement, or through a services agreement. We're able to provide the same services that we use to our base, both the enterprise and SME category. The various benefits we've actually achieved in moving to the AWS platforms, particularly the AWS Cloud, we've seen an uptick in performance of the different applications we're running on them. For instance, the self-service app I mentioned running on AWS Lambda, we experienced a 2x move up in performance. We experienced zero downtime for those systems on AWS the past year. We've saved a cumulative amount of about $2 million on a per annum basis. And the procurement time, at Globe, like I said, given a big company like ourselves, 60 to 90 days wouldn't be unheard of in getting a PO through the system, whereas in a matter of days, you can have a VM set up and a system working on the AWS cloud. Globe went from 32% market share to about 51.7% market share in the fourth quarter of 2016, and now has become the leading mobile operator in the Philippines. It's kind of odd that despite the fact that this computing power is so far away, right, we get a better response on our systems compared to something on-premise here in the Philippines. We truly like working with AWS because we're not treated as a mere customer. It's more than that. It's a deeper relationship. They truly have our interest in mind. And not many IT companies today or tech companies have that.
All right, thank you again, everyone who has stayed. And of course, here, for anyone that wants to join us in opening their camera, so we'll now allow people to turn on their camera for a class photo, right? For a class photo, of course. So if you want to be part of the class photo, please do turn on your camera. And let us see your beautiful faces, right? And of course, if you want to be SAs in the future, you mustn't be shy. No? You must be present yourself to your partners and everyone else. Ayun, we can see a lot of people already turning on their camera and showing us their great setup. Right, so we'll take a photo in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Oh, may pahabol, may pahabol. One more time. Okay, may pahabol. 1. Ito, dumadami yung pahabol. Wait lang. So we'll give them more time as well. Okay. So again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. All right. So that's it. Thank you again, everyone. And I hope to see you again next week.